Are we currently in the biggest bubble in US history?
There's no question. All you got to do is go to your computer screen and get an S&P monthly price chart, bar chart. Go back to 2000 and then look at the upside that, mid 90s to 2000, and then the huge drop, et cetera. Then look at the 2007 peak, which peaked slightly above where the 2000 top was. I'm talking S&P now. And then the drop that, of course, affected everybody's. It wasn't just a stock market drop. The economy went, everything was negative. Wave effects. And then look what's happened in the dozen years since. I mean, it's been off the page. So that if you look back at those little blips, again, on your quote screen, when you look at 2000 top and 2007 top, they'll look like little blips compared to where we are now, which is the top of your screen, okay, when you go to your quote screen. If that bubble breaks, and it's no question it's a bubble, and I measure that technically. We're a technical firm. I do have my fundamental views. I don't let them enter into our technical analysis. We're strictly number oriented, okay? We've been bearish on gold, for example, many times. 2011, got major bearish, didn't turn bullish till 16. But anyway, but if you look at that price chart alone, you'll be astounded by what's happened for 12 or 13 years. Now, when you then go to the St. Louis Federal Reserve and pull up a chart, they have a lot of charts. Fed funds rate, go back about 50 years. Look at the ebbs and flows, with low rates, high rates, low rates, generally descending for the last 20 years. But in 2009, they took it down to like zero, okay? And then you've had a little hump up. I think in 2015 went up to 2.5% Fed funds rate and back down near zero again. But basically, when you look at the Fed funds rate chart compared to its history, and then look at that S&P chart compared to its history, one's laying on the mat, effectively at zero money, and the other's in the stratosphere. Is there any surprise that one's in the stratosphere? Okay. So, the Fed talks about inflation, and they're total hypocrites academically. That is inflation. When you look at an M2 chart, pull up an M2 chart from the St. Louis Fed, you'll see the same type of parabolic thing. When you take the essential commodity of human interaction, which isn't metals or food, it's money. That's what we exchange things with. So it's the essential commodity that holds the world together, the countries together. And you make it worthless, in effect. You say it doesn't cost anything. The cost of buying money is zero. Interest rates are near zero. Well, then you artificially create a reality that isn't real. And people will take that reality and apply it in their lives or in their corporations or in their state expenditures or municipal expenditures or federal government expenditures and base their planning on that key factor. That's one of the key factors in any economic or financial decision you might make is what's money cost me, and if that lasts not just a couple of months, but a year, but 13 years of this, consider the myriad, the millions of distortions that might have occurred during that process. Macro and microeconomic distortion, where decisions have been made, capital's been committed, people have been hired, et cetera, based on the assumption of the cost of money. Well, I mean, it fools the investor, for one thing, because it lasts so long. The boom bust cycles of the last 110 years under the Fed, and they've generated them all, have, been less frequent than they have been over the last 30 or 40 years. It's gotten, every 20, 30 years now, it's suddenly every several years, okay? 2000, 2007, et cetera. It's become a normal. That distorts all kinds of things and creates, in the case, because the current one is so old, there's a lot of investors out there who've been around a decade and they don't know any difference. I mean, to them, it's just always up. Fed's going to accommodate us no matter what. And so there's a complacency. And of course, that's highly dangerous. And so basically the guys, Jeremy Grantham recently, major asset manager, Ray Dalio and so forth, guys like this over the past several months who have age and maturity in looking at markets have done this. They know something is big and it's wrong. And they know what the source of the problem is. They've said it, the central bank.
All right.
This goes silver back to March of 2020. Remember that sharp sell-off that lasted a couple of days in March when silver tried to mimic the stock market?
Okay, this is the virus sell-off around March 20.
The sell-off. And then you exploded. Silver went from $12 back over 18 in a heartbeat. The next thing you knew, in 3 months, you were at $30 from a low at 12.
Okay.
So now the moving average here is not a 200-day. It's a 3-quarter moving average, which is similar duration. But we only change the average once at the end of every quarter. We go back, we average the high, low, and the close of the prior 3 quarters and come up with a new number. Okay. Now, you can see that silver went sideways.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.